Hey guys, welcome to the first episode of my podcast. So I was going to call this the Raw Thoughts Podcast. That name's been taken because you snooze, you lose, right? So I'll figure the rest out later. I think a couple things to quickly mention to get the ball rolling is basically that hard men create easy times create weak men create hard times create hard men. Seems that over the past, I don't know, maybe 20, 30 years, it's been quite easy times and has created a lot of weak men. You see that with a lot of the polarity between men and women, what's going on. It doesn't take a rocket science to see that women have been crushing it in terms of like the education system, in terms of how they show up in energy. You see more and more women showing up in their masculine, more men showing up in their feminine. And, you know, that basically plays also into that we're in a society that is rife with victimhood. Now, this isn't shitting on anybody. It's just basically the reality of what it is. You see victimhood with reactiveness, not taking responsibility, pointing the finger. Basically, like the victor and the victim, the victor goes, okay, yes, I fucked up. Okay, where did I mess up? How do I not do that again? Cool. All right, move on. Continue to take action, continue to do things. With a victim, you'll see somebody that will point the finger everywhere and never take any responsibility. Gaslighting, you name it. And the thing is that the victor is someone that is at least able to be stoic and to take ownership of themselves. And you know, when you're a victor, you will find your way to your purpose and passion and mission in life, to the place where you were a best fit in terms of maybe it's as an employee, maybe it's self-employed, maybe it's as a business owner, or maybe it's an investor, or maybe it's sitting on Centrelink, in which case I guess you're employed by the government. So the reason I think that this is so important is because we're in an age where pretty much everything is possible. Not only are we... So there is many rabbit holes about the age that we're in and what's going on in the political system and with governments and like stories and narratives that we're told, etc., etc. But the short and sweet, and at least that we are safe from harm, we are able to travel, we are able to choose what we want to do, and there's not really anyone or anything standing in our way. Now and it depends on what mindset you have as to whether you agree with this or not, because I'm not saying that it's easy to. I'm not saying that you can just go, I want to be a millionaire and I want to manifest $1 million. Come on, $1 million, and it falls in your lap. No, for one, that's not how manifestation works. That's not the nature of reality. And that's not the society that we're in. Like, we're in a society, there's lots of paperwork, there's lots of loopholes, there's lots of... there's even lots of double standards, right? But also, like, what's stopping you from being free from all of the things that you used to be? Quote from a John Mayer song. But I think it's amazing, because it's like, well, who says that you can't be free from all the things that you used to be? All the pain, all the suffering, all the mistakes, all of the stories, and all of the perception and identity that has made you perceive and see that and make the actions that you've made. Both good and bad, because the thing is that there is good in everybody, and everybody is doing something good every day. Just the thing is whether you can see it or not, because some of my times where I felt the worst in my life, I've been on both sides of the fence, but many of the times where I felt really, really bad is when I was being an amazing person. I just had a shit relationship with myself. I was really harsh and nasty with myself, but I was treating everybody else beautifully and I was being a really kind and nice person. But then I was just smashing myself. I was stopping myself from doing anything. So then over the past 3 or 4 years, I basically decided that enough is enough. I ended up in a hospital bed. The nurses and doctors gave me like a ballpark diagnosis. They're like, yeah, you don't have the full diagnosis. You know, we're not diagnosing you, but you sort of what you got is up this alley. And it was at that moment where it was like a slap to the face. I was going like, oh shit, like I thought I was just a bit depressed or upset, but like it's coming to a point where it's like almost a disorder. And that's the point where I decided I had to change. I think that's the point where I realized that I was essentially had become a weak man and started taking ownership and accountability. And it's not until the past year and a half where I committed to one-on-one coaching for 8 months, and I've been to several seminars, and I'm now in a couple of different year-long mentorship programs. So where I'm getting mentored by, there's 2 different multimillionaires which are doing amazing things. So on top of that is also this year I've committed to coaching. So where I've taken on a couple of different clients and I've been working really hard at getting them results. On the same token, there's also been a lot of belief and identity which I've had to work through. Also with my partner that we've been together the past couple months. And like with going into this because of beliefs, identity, perceptions and stories, is that there was all this shit that came up. So it was resistance and challenge, and then overcome that, and then it's been absolutely beautiful. And yeah, especially the past 2-3 weeks, I had a tough conversation with one of my mentors, and it was essentially smack upside the back of the head. I care about you, but smack upside the back of the head. Stop doing this. And I was like, fuck. I knew that, like, yes, something that I realized, but the reality is that I had to let some shit go. So I guess you'd say that I'm teasing at things in this, and it's not because I'm aversive to telling you guys what this is, but I think it's just that I'm keeping it simple, because otherwise I'm going to start to speak about one thing that's going to trail into another, and it's going to become a blah, 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 and I'm not going to be able to keep it short and sweet. So in case you wanted to hear that one again, that was it's going to become a blah, 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 blah. Because I also want to have fun with this, right? And I've always had a really serious attitude towards podcasting in the past. It's always been like, like, oh, I've got to say the right things at the right time. It's got to be really high value and blah, 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 blah. But it's like, we just need to take action and to do it from a place of authenticity. Like, who we are when nobody else is around and we're watching, or when we're with our best friend and we're being authentically ourselves. Like, that's how we should show up in the world, considering that there's not things that are making us do this from a place of trying to seek significance, connection, variety. There's 5 or 6 human needs. Shelter, growth. There's another one. I've forgotten it. But yeah, basically just wanted to start with those things because as a coach and as an educator, the word educate to me means to bring out of ignorance. These are things that I'm really passionate about, and it's kind of funny to openly speak who I am, somewhat speak them into existence, in the sense of that if you just speak and you don't understand who you are, there's kind of 2 parts to it. Is, for one, you can't intentionally say this is who I am and then have that certainty in yourself of who you are and how you're showing up. But then the other thing is that other people are always going to make their own decisions about who you are. It doesn't matter how much conviction and certainty you have in who you are. It doesn't matter how connected you are to your purpose. Like, you can be, like, people talk shit about Mother Teresa, Jesus, who's some good examples? Jordan Peterson, Joe Rogan, like, people that are living life really well, really, like, they're caring and they're leaving such a beautiful mark on the world. But there's always some fucking, as a guy doing a talk in this in the seminar that I was at a couple of days ago, said, oxygen deprived ball bag. There's always some oxygen deprived ball bags floating around that are going to shit on your beauty. And like, the nature of reality is that, like, it's up to us to decide what other people's opinions and perceptions mean, but also who we are and what we take on. Because the thing is that it depends what we can control. There's a parable, and I'll do my best to remember all of it, but it goes, For the things which are in your control, I wish you courage. For the things that are not in your control, I wish you, it's maybe acceptance or letting go. For the things that you do not understand, there's a couple more, and I'm just going to butcher it if I try and quote them. But the point is that, like, everything that is in our life is a direct reflection of who we are. Our relationships, our stories, our beliefs, our environments, and even our physical body. Now, my height is not a reflection of who I am or who I've chosen to be. There's certain things, like being a man is not someone that I've that's not correct. Being a male is not something that I've chosen to be, but being a man is something that I've chosen to be. Because you can remain Peter Pan. Like, I know many people that get to 50, 60-year-old and they're still a fucking horrible role model to their children. They're still, like, word vomiting shit at their children when they're upset, and, like, their children are like my age, and it's like, what are you doing? Like, wake up. How are you so unaware of yourself? So, it's with this intention that I want to, like, lovingly help people, just lovingly share everything that I've learned, especially over the past 3 to 4 years, especially this year. Because the past year and a half of it's been massive, but, like, this year particularly, as I stepped away from the one-on-one coaching that I was doing and kind of went out on my own, after that experience it was a rebirth in who I'm choosing to be and who I give myself, how much I'm backing myself, how much I know myself, how much I back myself, how much I believe in myself, and how much it's believe as well, but believe I deserve, right? Because we can have all of the tools and all of the potential, but if we don't believe that we're worthy of something, we're never going to do it. You can be the best mechanic on earth and have a fully kitted toolbox, but if you believe that you are not good enough to work at Ferrari, you're never going to fix Ferraris, or you're never going to be able to build Ferraris. You're never going to be able to build something that is really high performance and high value. And the thing is, my mission in life is to really develop a structure that is I think, to put it simply, amazingly efficient at getting people out of suffering, connecting them to their purpose and passion, and then giving them the tools to be able to not get there, because I can't teach people everything that they're going to need, but give them the tools to be able to go like, okay, well, this is me, this is where I want to go. Ryan doesn't know anything about e-commerce, but, if I go and take a course on it, and then I'm disciplined and I'm consistent and I'm not spending time with people that are robbing my energy, shitting on what I'm doing, I'm getting around other people that are in e-commerce, I'm taking lessons from them, then you're going to succeed. Because at the end of the day, like, with all of the tools and technology and knowledge that is shared in this world and isn't being tainted, it is like, there's no excuses. I don't have an excuse for not achieving my dreams, and you don't have an excuse for not achieving yours. Now, there is the tidbit which stops you becoming a tyrant to yourself, because one of the biggest things that I've experienced in my adult life that has been so difficult to deal with, and it is the reflection of a relationship of going through suicidal ideation for 10, 12 years unconsciously. And then I say unconsciously because I wasn't really aware of the severity of what I was experiencing. I was just like, oh yeah, I'm just going through another shit phase again. Ugh. It's like, no, bro, like if you like pull these weeds out of your garden and then you like water the plants and you put a few good ones in, who you are and what you believe you can do and what you believe you deserve is going to be immensely different. And the thing is at 27, I'm looking back through my 20s, and like, even when I scroll through and I go back through the videos, it's like, and the pictures like stored in on my Instagram history and my Snapchat history and just things that I got saved. Like, it's like, shit, at 16, like, I could have achieved everything that I could achieve now. That's the reality of the situation. And it's a very tough one. Now, the thing is a lot of people, when you say something like that, they jump on you to try and like, they're like, oh, but it's okay because you shouldn't judge yourself for something like that and you shouldn't be harsh and it's okay, you let it go, just be happy. And it's like, whoa, pump the fucking brakes. Do you want me to have an identity that's like, it's okay, I can start later when I'm 30, when I'm 35, when I'm 40? Or are you going to take the reality that like most of us could do what we're doing now when we were a teenager? That's the reality of it. And that isn't something to be harsh or tyrannical. That's the potential which we carry as humans. Like, compare us to the natural world. Chimpanzees, insects, dogs, dolphins, orcas. Humans created microphone stands, houses, cars, planes, fucking internet, radio waves, like, you name it. Like, look at everything humans have made. And you try and make the argument that we're not in heaven, or that we aren't God, or gods, or a part of God, or a reflection of God. And I say that with absolutely zero ego and absolutely zero disdain for God, because I believe that, like, whether you believe in source, spirit, the universe, Muhammad, Jesus, silver man in the clouds, like, whatever your perception of God is, at the bare minimum, bare minimum, metaphorically it's true in the sense of living your life with the respect or the relationship in that sense to the outside world is one of gratitude, it's one of humility, and it's one of respect. But it's also one that brings that back to you, because not only is what you put out is what you get back. If you're putting out humility, respect, discipline, you're going to get that back. But like, it's also gratitude. Like, this world that we're in is so beautiful. And there's so many of us suffering, and there's so many of us that are living in victimhood. And it's what I want to commit my life to helping people get out of this, to break free of the chains and shackles that they've been held in for so many years. Because, like, I have lived far too much of my life not doing what I want to do. And like, it's like interest, right? Like compound interest. If you start investing money, the more you invest earlier, the more exponentially it grows. There's a point where, starting several years later and with a certain amount less, just never catches up. It's like the story of Kobe. Everyone would do one practice with basketball. He'd go in and do 3 every day. There's a point where just nobody could catch him. I don't know anything about basketball, and I don't know really anything about Kobe, but a lot of people do, and it's amazing. It's a great metaphor for it. So, it comes down to simple things like, what are we putting off? How long have I been putting off starting a podcast and speaking the truth and reality, as far as I can tell? Because there's 2 things, right? Like, I'm not here to tell anybody who they are or explicitly what the world is. I'm here to share my personal truth. But the thing is that there is also universal truth. And that's where it comes down to, if you compare all of the world's religions, they essentially cover the same things. Easy example is the precepts. Don't lie or say things to be untrue. Don't cheat or have a commitment with someone and then decide to do something else. Don't steal or take things which aren't given to you. Don't take intoxicants or put things in your body that is bad for your body or your mind. And there's another one, and it's escaping my brain. Don't lie, steal, cheat, kill. Don't kill consciously. Like, if you see an ant on the floor, that is something that is in this reality. It is another living creature. Why would you want to end the life of another living creature for no reason? If you're hunting, you need to eat, you need to be alive. The nature of this reality is that life pays for life. And this is the thing, right? Like, I'm not going to go into that rabbit hole. Otherwise, I'll end up recording a massive episode. I said I was going to keep this short. But it's like with anything in life, why would you want to have an interaction in this life that is anything that's not at least doing its best to be a relationship with the highest good? Whether it's a relationship with people, whether it's with money, whether it's your physical health, your mental health, whether it's with spirituality, time and presence, whether it's with your mission or purpose, with fun. Why would you not want to aim for the best life that you can aim for? Do you believe that you deserve the best life? Do you believe you deserve a good life? What sort of things have you been told growing up? What kind of stories are you carrying, and where do they come from? Like, the thing is that we can be free from all of the things that we used to be when we decide who we want to be. Decide means to kill off. Pesticide, herbicide, suicide, homicide. Decide means to cut, to separate. So we can cut that energetic cord from our past in this moment. And where do we want to aim? Because if we try to cut an energetic cord and we do the same shit, it's only just going to reconnect us with us and slap us in the face even harder, because it's lying to yourself. It's sinning. And sin means to miss the mark. It's an archery term, right? You're an archer, you're aiming at the target. You sin, you miss. That might mean that you're not eating dinner tonight. The same token is, if you sin for enough of your life, you have so much compound of suffering to the point where it takes a lot of commitment to get out, and a lot of people just simply don't get out. I wouldn't say that you can never get out, because I believe that with the correct actions and I say correct very intentionally, because there are correct and incorrect actions based on truth. It doesn't mean that there is one correct action. It means that there is a type of correct action. Correct action isn't going, fuck all you guys are, this is who I'm going to be. That's incorrect, because it's still victimhood. You're still speaking out of that energy. You're still identifying as somebody that needs to be reactive. If you can say, hey guys, look, I love you. I wish you well. I've got to move in a direction. I'm going to be a different person. If you do want to continue to have a relationship with me, these are my standards and my prerequisites. These are my standards. You know? So it's like that relationship with ourselves as well. Like, okay, hey, Ryan, as an example. Okay, so you want to start coaching people. You want to, start doing better things with your money, this, that, and the other. You want to start to create something really amazing with your life. Then there's all sorts of story, belief, identity, etc., which I've transcended in the sense of stopped carrying with me and have healed. But then as it comes to taking a real step, that's testing me. Because if you ask the universe for something, it's going to test you. Whether it puts things in your way, challenges, might be having difficult relationship, it might be losing money, it might be having your mind lie to you about who you are and what you deserve and what you can do for other people in their life. And the thing is like, one of the biggest things is that we all carry so much from our past, and it's okay to bring the stories with us, but not what the stories meant. It's okay to remember and to know what they did mean, But it's not okay for our stories to mean the same thing today that they did back then. Because otherwise we haven't learned and grown from them. Because as you learn and grow, things naturally change. So if you want to change everything that you've ever known that has held you back, the meaning of that needs to change. I think that's a pretty good note to end on, to be honest. So feel free to leave a comment or message. Feel free to let me know if you like this or not. Ryan Ward, so you can find me on Facebook or Instagram. Instagram is Ryan Wood, 5 underscores under it. I'm going to put the full version on YouTube. I'm going to cut a short version for Instagram, Facebook, and I'll pull audio for Spotify. I don't really know why I'm announcing this now and at the end of the video, but is what it is. I'm pretty happy with this share. So thanks, guys. Hope you have an amazing day, and I'll see you next time.